All right. It's good to see you again, kiddos. I am in this time of COVID-19 crisis here. Wanted to do a quick series. I think this is more applicable than ever. Remote leadership series. So I've got several principles that we'll go over in the next couple weeks. I guess I don't know the timeline. As you know, if you've watched my channel before, I'm pretty sporadic on when I get on and when I go on these big streaks of not checking in for a while. So kind of going to jump into this remote leadership. I think a lot of people are probably having to move their teams from, typical office work into remote situations. And you're going to find that teams are actually very efficient and effective during this crisis here. Hopefully a lot of businesses learn that they don't need to rent so much office space and spend so much time trying to track people's activity, which is one of the least valuable things to track. So as we get into remote leadership, I'm going to kind of break down these principles, but I just wanted to kind of start off with talking about like just humans love to they love to have a project. They love to feel a purpose. They love to be a part of something bigger than themselves, right? So tracking their activity does very little to actually, it destroys those things. So when you're an activity tracker and you like need your employee to come clock in, put in their time at the office, despite, whether they have a busy day or a not busy day, commute back home, you're wasting a lot of their time and you're not necessarily motivating them with anything of like substance or value. So let's jump into this one. The first principle that I want to talk about is a worthy cause. So a worthy cause, just like everyone, like I guess I just said it. People want to feel something bigger be a part of something bigger than them. And when you just hand over the reins to somebody and say, here's the end goal. I hired you because you're a smart, capable individual, and I want you to figure out how to achieve that end goal. And I'm going to pay you to do that. And I'm going to support you. I'm going to give you the resources that I have available to me. I'm going to share my, strengths, and hopefully your strengths can, between the two of us or, between our team, we can achieve that end goal. So when somebody feels that sort of burden on their shoulders of like, okay, it's up to me to achieve that, they work much more efficiently, much more like joy in their work. So they take pride in it, and they actually tend to work longer hours, which is exponentially better than showing up to work, being time tracked, right? So I was talking to someone close to me earlier about this, and how, when somebody's on the clock, like under an hourly rate, right? You pay them hourly. So they're going to show up for 8 hours a day, no matter what, whether they're sick, whether they have a lot on their plate, whether they have almost nothing to do. They're going to show up, they're going to clock in for their 8 hours because that's how they sustain their lifestyle, right? So when you require them to show up, and let's just assume that, this is a Thursday and there's just not a whole lot to do today, but I know I'm going to have a big day on Friday. But I really only have about 5 hours of work for Thursday. They'll kind of drag their feet, they'll drag it out, they do whatever, because they have to put in their time, but they, ideally should be out doing something for themselves. They could be doing something for their spouse, for their kids. They might even be doing a little extra for you because things come up. But instead, they had to show up to the office and get their 8 hours in, and therefore, that's what you're going to get as an employer or a manager. Whereas if you give someone a worthy cause, they have the reins to manage when they come and go, but they know what they have to accomplish. They typically put their spin on it. They put their flair on it. They collaborate. They ask people's thoughts. They They do a lot more research. They tend to really take pride in being affiliated with this cause, and they want to be able to show what they've done and share it with the team, right? Because this is a team thing, and I wasn't just micromanaged, and it wasn't about my time. We didn't track activity, we tracked outcomes. So, which is a principle later. We're going to talk about tracking outcomes, but it all stems from having that worthy cause. Simon Sinek, writes it in Start with Why. You need to have a why. You'll hear that terminology a lot. You start with why. You got to have a why, and your why represents your business, your culture, your people, right? And if you have a strong why or a worthy cause, it will drive the entire team to do better, to find creative ways to collaborate to achieve the end goal, because that worthy cause feels like emotionally satisfying to be a part of. And I think a lot of managers think that people want to inherently be lazy, but most people, if they're lazy for very long, just they get itching to do something effective and physical and mentally stimulating, and so, like, assume that if I think it's safe to assume that almost all employees will give great effort if they feel like they have power, trust, security, and pursuit of a worthy cause. So that's principle one. Remote leadership is so key in this day and age, big more than ever, and that one principle will empower your people and bolster your business better than anything else that I've come across. Giving them the power to work within their life, the dynamics that they have, the strengths they have, and the connections that they have. They'll give you more than you could have ever imagined when compared to activity tracking. So it's a cool time as far as technology. Now we're in this coronavirus crisis, and that could cause a lot of hardship, but there's a couple of silver linings in this, right? One is that a lot of businesses are going to find out just how well they can do by working remotely and getting rid of those restraints on their employees and the costs of office space and stuff like that. Certain individuals are going to learn that they don't ever want to go back to a job like that, and they'll find new ways to make money. And for anyone young and in the stock market, it's a great time to be buying, right? There's a few things that come from crises like this. And so, is it crises? Anyway, I'm not that smart. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm starting to blab at this point, but hopefully this is helpful as you're finding yourself stuck at home, trying to work, trying to collaborate, trying to build teams, trying to work on projects. This could be a very positive time for you. So comment below strategies you've learned, remote leadership. I think it's the next wave of our, working lives and teamwork, and it's going to be fabulous. So thanks for coming, guys. We'll see you next time.